quite hydrated.
Okay.
Now I am too with my new 42-hour cold thing.
Somebody's fancy. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Middles Open. I'm Michael Moore, sitting in, as always, Doug Risher. Doug, how are you?
Good, Mike. How you doing?
I'm good. Lou's not here today because...
He's still dodging us, huh?
No, I talked to him. But I brought a big dog in here. Like, Lou's normally the big dog on the show. We'll admit it.
Right.
Mr. Football, right? That was a long time ago.
Right.
We brought a real man in here. He looks like the dude from the Superman where they had the 3 people that fought Superman.
Yep.
He has that look, General Zod. Right?
Oh, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Now I see that, yeah.
Listen to that voice. Mike, just say your name.
Mike Wessel.
See what I mean? That is a man.
I'm going to get him in here just to voice some commercials for me.
I was thinking, like, can you imagine right now people are going to listen, like, what station is he on? Just this dumb show.
Yep.
Mike, tell people where you're from, not originally. Tell them how we got you here.
I live in Jonesboro, Arkansas. It's about an hour near Memphis, and I've watched your shows and everything else. I just kind of followed around and everything
This man
else.
has nothing to do.
Well, I liked you guys, what you guys did. I was like, and I contacted you. I mean, I think it's about 4 or 5 weeks ago. I knew I was going to be coming in, and I was like, I wanted to be on your show.
As soon as he sent the message, I just said, "Yep." I didn't talk to him to look at him. I just saw the profile pic, and I'm like, "Yeah, you're coming." This man has the most interesting backstory, though, Doug. I've spent like half an hour with him.
Right.
I can't wait to watch your face as he blows you away with this.
Well, I'm just shocked by the size of his hands.
Oh yeah,
They're like giant hands. Like, they would just crush you.
I think this is the second toughest dude on the planet next to who?
Oh, my God. Don't say it.
Brock Lesnar.
Bro, hey man, that dude's
See what I
a
mean?
giant man.
That's a mountain right
yes,
there.
he's huge.
Michael has to work him into the show every single
show.
week.
Every show.
That and a
And
softball
I
team.
hashtag Brock Lesnar because I know he's going to be paying attention one day.
Yeah, he's not busy.
Yeah.
He's watching.
So, Mike, tell people your background. And I mean, let's start. So you played college football.
Yeah, I played at the University of St. Francis. It's a small university in Fort Wayne, Indiana. They started the program in '98, and I think we won 2 games the first season, and then we didn't lose the conference championship for 10 years after that.
Oh, wow.
And so they just won the national championship 2 years in a row. It's NAIA, but they play like Valparaiso. Now Valparaiso, Butler, Dayton, all them won't play us. Because 56-10 was the last time I think they played Butler.
That's a little bit of an ass whooping.
Yeah. They have scholarships, and so in NAI you can get scholarship, and that's why I went. It's for the smaller football players that I'm not 6'9", I'm not 6'3". I was a nose guard at 5'11", 3/4. But
Right.
NFL.
But you got those big meat hooks on you.
Yeah, I was a lot bigger then too, so.
Well, so you go from doing that, and you get invited to some camps, right?
Yeah.
Some NFL camps.
Yeah. I don't even think I even got in the door, man. They just kind of looked at me and just kind of said sorry, and that's okay. And it's a business, and that's the way it goes. But then I went to a couple of arena teams where they suggested to me, go play arena, go try to this. And so I went to North Dakota, Bismarck, North Dakota, with the Bismarck Rough Riders, and played 1 season. And then Schottenheimer went to San Diego. And so I kind of followed down there to San Diego, and then played for the Arena 2 team, the Riptide, in San Diego for 2 seasons.
Which has got to be a nice life, right? You go to San Diego
San
for a little
Diego?
while?
Yeah.
Man, I lived on the beach. They gave me a little condo on the beach. I called up 2 of my best friends from college, Scotty Payne and Jason Coriano. Jason's still out there. He's like a real estate agent. He lives right across the street from Petco Park. And I said, dude, I got a free living space. I said, I'm living on the beach. There's 10 yards of grass, the boardwalk, and the beach. I said, get out here. It's free. Come on, let's hang out, And so we were out there for a couple years, and then, my boy, it was time to go back home after I was done playing. It was time, we're going to get in trouble. It was just too much fun, and, so I went back to Ohio for a second, and then
It's got to be culture shock right there, going from San Diego back to Ohio.
It really was. It was.
It's like living in a penthouse than living in a dumpster.
Well, no, man,
know
don't
if
hate
it's
on the
that
OH
extreme,
like that. I love this place. I love.
I'm just saying San Diego. It looks
yeah.
good on TV.
Everybody says it's one of the best places to live,
Yeah.
but
It
it's so
is.
expensive. But
It
if you're
is.
living there for free, man, my God.
Yeah, like we had Vons cards for like $200 a week for groceries, and they sell beer at Vons.
Oh, nice.
So
$200
yeah,
in beer.
yeah. So it was, when I was playing football and everything else, we just kind of enjoyed life and partied a little bit. And I probably should have taken it a little bit more serious, but it was just it was a good time. And then when I came back to Ohio, like I said, my friend called me from North Dakota and said, "Man, do you want to coach? At a JUCO?" North Dakota State College of Science, and it's in Wappington, and one of the coldest places on earth. When I showed up, it was -50.
Wow.
It was
And that
awful.
was summer.
Yeah, that was June, and you know, I was there for the season, and we had a kid named John West who was a safety, and Houston Nutt from the Arkansas Razorbacks came to recruit, you know, John, and you know, I love coaching, and I love kind of inspiring people and trying to push them and say, man, you can do better, we can get better, you know, and I'm not that serious. I don't really get on people too much, you know. I'm more of a smart about it, you know. I tease them or whatever in the way that they can take it. And Coach Nutt pulled me aside and said, you know, you're a hell of a coach, you know, and which is a compliment. And he was very complimentary of me, and he goes, if we have a position open, I would like you to be part of the staff, you know. And like I told you, I thought it was just kind of blowing smoke. Just, you know, I was going to be a coach there for a while. Maybe he can get some more players. But that's fine. You know, politics, all that stuff.
It's a nice pat on the back, but it means nothing.
Yeah. And, well, no, it meant something. But, you know, at the same time, I was like, you know, okay, I understand politics. And a strength conditioning job opened up for them. And I was sitting at my desk, and I said, what do you think? I asked my buddy, I said, what do you think my chances to get this job? He said, well, call him. And I called him, and, I mean, right off the bat, I was like, Coach Nutt, this is Mike Wessel. And he said, Mike Wessel, how you doing? You guys won the Graphic Edge Bowl. He knew everything about me. He knew everything. He remembered me and everything else. And I said, well, I mean, I'm talking about that strength conditioning job. You know, how do I get into that? And he goes, you want that job? He goes, give me a call back in 5 minutes. And I called him back in 5 minutes. He goes, can you be here Sunday? This was Thursday in North Dakota. And I'd never been to Arkansas, ever. I really didn't know much about the SEC. Being from Ohio, it was all Big Ten. You know, and you knew only the big teams in the SEC, Florida and whatever, you know, Bama.
Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Vanderbilt, yeah. And so I was there on Sunday coaching the Razorbacks. And then that's the teams that had, like, Darren McFadden, Felix Jones, Peyton Hillis, Joel Anderson, Tony Hugo. I mean, there was a ton of those kids went to NFL and had long careers. Chris Houston was with Atlanta. Jamal Anderson was with Atlanta. I mean, just a ton of kids. And you know, so I was coaching the Razorbacks. All of a sudden, I'm just there, and I'm an SEC coach.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Couple days makes a huge difference.
Here's the thing. Spending time with him, you're going to hear a lot of just like that, and you're going to say, there's no way this all happened. So you're coaching, everything's going well, and you see something on television.
Yeah, I was in the weight room. One of my buddies that's a strength conditioning coach, Jason Wolfon, where I was looking up at the screens in the weight room. These weight rooms are just amazing. And they have big screens and everything else. And I seen this fighting, and I was like, I asked him, what the hell is that? You know, he's like, oh, it's this MMA. And I've never done boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, any of this. I've never even thought about it, you know. And I said, I could do that. You know, I want to do that. I can do that. And
you've never done any of this.
No.
I make that point for what's coming up.
Right.
Yeah, I never trained one iota for any of it, and so I have no clue.
And the best way to go into fighting is to not know what you're doing.
Exactly, that's what I get.
I think on every high school playground, we've always said the kid that can't fight should start the fight.
If there's any kids listening, don't take Michael's advice.
Don't.
If you're listening on a Sunday, go to sleep.
Well, you know, so 6 weeks later, I fought, and because of my size and because of my background with football, I had an upper hand on. At that time, MMA wasn't that big, especially around there. And it was mainly the guys that were the tough guys at the bar that were heavyweights that would go, oh, I can do that. You know?
What year would you say this was?
This was 2006, 2007. Okay. I think I fought UFC 92 in 2007. So it would have been 2006.
Fought on the card while we were watching it at home. He fought on that card. But you know what? We didn't have to train for it, so that's fine.
No, I was drinking beer. So.
I would have been doing it too, man.
That's the best way to bulk up.
So you trained for this fight out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then, as you're kicking along looking for another fight, you go to Vegas, and you just happen to run into a couple of small-time guys.
Well, that was my amateur career. And I was an amateur for about a year, and then I went pro. And that was my first amateur fight. And then about a year and a half into this, Rolly Delgado, who was my jiu-jitsu coach out of Westside MMA in Little Rock, he was on The Ultimate Fighter Season 8. And I'm up there just having a good time. I'm partying, just kind of with my coach. You know, he's going to fight, but I'm enjoying it when it's off season.
Having a few sodas.
Yeah, Nogueira's coach was there, and it was just crazy. And I see Dana White and Joe Silva in the back at the weigh-ins, And I just walked up to him. I think I had a beer in my hand. I might have been double fisted. And I just said, hey, my name's Mike Wessel, and if you ever need a fighter on short notice or whatever, just please give me a call. And they we know who you are. And once again, one of those moments where you're political. Thank you for at least acknowledging my existence. I'm gonna go walk away.
That was like the BMV. We know who you are. Go back in line.
Yeah. It really was. And I got off the plane on Tuesday and I text messaged and said, "You're coming back to Vegas. You're fighting number 9 Anthony Hardunk next week." And so I had a week's notice to fight the number 9 ranked guy in the world who kicks people. I took half of a kick from that guy. Half of it. I moved in on him. And I couldn't sit on the plane back. The stewardesses let me stand in the exit doors. I just tucked. Oh, they did, because they knew how bad I was hurting. I showed them my leg, but no, so on a week's notice, I went to the UFC because I took a shot, and Dana and Joe said, "Yeah, bring him. We need somebody to fight."
So if you didn't actually go up to them, to Dana White, right then, you probably would have never gotten that fight.
No, I don't think.
So he goes up with 2 solo cups, and they're like, "We'll put that guy in a ring."
That's the guy.
That's the guy that's good fight.
Let's spot this
That's
through.
crazy. Well, that's awesome. So, how do you prepare for a fight like that with 1 week notice?
Are you asking me or him?
Not you, because you don't fight.
I really didn't. I didn't. I mean, I've been kind of. I didn't. I mean, that's the best way to say it because, that whole time, like Ohio is the same way almost as Las Vegas and California. They're very strict medicals. And the athletic commission has these rules, so I had to get MRIs, CT scans, all these things.
Everything.
Yeah, so I had a week to do it.
Yeah.
So the whole time I'm getting my medicals done. I didn't really train. I'd get a couple hours in maybe, but I've been training off and on from August because I couldn't get a fight from August, and this is December 27th. And December 27th, and I from August till then, I was I half-assed it, man. I really wasn't trying to train because I knew there was no fight coming. I didn't have a goal. I didn't have something to be excited about to prepare for. And so, I mean, that's just a lesson to anybody that's fighting, man. Be ready at all times because they might just...
But did you not know that because you were so... I'm not going to say you were new to it, but it was you hadn't had really long training camps beforehand, right? So...
No. Yeah, that's an excuse, though, to me. That's an excuse. I knew better.
Oh, I was going to tell you that, but I just meant I would be prepared. But I just mean if you were in that situation, like those other guys, there have to be people on deck, right? That they're still training, but they're probably part of someone else's camp.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm warming you up. I'm getting you there, and you just happen to be sitting on the dock over here, and they're like, "Hey, come in here, Mike."
Well, that happened with John Jones when Rashad got hurt. When Rashad Evans got hurt, John Jones took the spot, and that's kind of what broke up that whole. Jackson Wink. That's exactly what happened, and John was ready. But where I was, that really was an option, and I didn't think of it then to be as prepared as it was. The coaches were telling me, "Mike, be ready," and I was like, "I got it," and a lot of ego on my part, and that's part of the thing that I failed as far as training. I should have been ready, but. I did well. They gave me a bonus check. I got home. The fight, when you fight for the UFC the first time, they really don't pay you much. I think it was 4-4, but then after the fight, they gave me a check for $8,000. And then they handed me another check for $8,000 and said, "Hey, thank you for taking this. You fought wonderful." Like I put Anthony on his back several times in the first round. Right when I took mount in the bell rung. And so that was the first round. I had nothing after that. So my cardio was gassed.
What's that feel like? Because we've never talked to anybody. I mean, Doug gets beat up all the time. But we never talked to somebody that actually, it's over and you got to come back out. Like, what are you thinking right then? You're like, get this over with quick?
Yeah. Just please, just
so
go get him. Go.
I'm going down.
You better take him out or you're done. You better take him out or you're done. Stay close to him because if he kicks you from a distance, you're going to hurt for a long time.
You're going to be standing in an airplane.
Yeah, standing in an airplane is what I did, too.
And did you at least pass out peanuts?
They made
you already staying.
Yeah.
Mike, grab that drink card.
Any job you want to give me, Joe, just give me a job. But no, what's going through your mind, your body's burning so much, like it hurts. Like your muscles are on fire. It's not that you feel like you can't breathe. Your body's the lactic acid thing is just burning your body up, and you're. It's just like the video game when you see those little lines go down, it starts flashing. The fight games, and that's exactly what it is. And your body's burning, and I just know just take him down, knock him out, and I just couldn't do it. I got reversed when I went to take him down, and I got grounded and pounded out. And that was the end of it.
Well, I was listening to something about Joe Rogan was talking about the Mayweather-Conor fight and about how Conor got gassed and like has a history of getting gassed. But we've never had anybody we could really ask what that's like. And I always feel horrible for the guy that loses because you know that going into it you're confident, but there has to be that point in your mind where you're like, my body just won't do what I want it to do, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel when you're preparing now for fights? I mean, you're probably taking more time to do it, right?
Oh yeah. When I found out this fight June 1st was a possibility, I've not fought for 2 years, and then had surgeries, a lot of them, and so I've kind of taken. But I knew this was coming, so I was getting in shape to get in shape. That was 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and then I was in shape to be in shape, and now I'm in camp. To where I burn about 8,000 calories a day on my watch.
Wow.
I post it, on my Instagram. I post like my pictures of my watch and everything. I love it. It's a pushing. But when I'm training, I've went on hills before and cried because I know somebody's coming to beat me. I know there's a man that's going to come kick my butt, and that's the thing about me
I'm
is.
glad you came right to me.
Well, isn't that what drives you though? To force yourself to become better because there's always someone gunning for you.
Yeah, and like I was talking to Mike earlier. I'm not an elite fighter. I'm not this guy that you see on TV. I have worked my way. That's the only thing I've got is I can outwork you.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing with me is my drive. This process of the fight and everything else is I can find the emotion to push myself and to keep going, because when I ran the hill that one time, is my first time running the specific hill that I run now all the time, and I ran it 5 times and I thought I was dying, and I started talking to myself, jogging back down. I was like, this guy's gonna hurt you. This guy's gonna in front of your fans, in front of your family. He's gonna, and I ended up running it 16 times. I was crying. I was crying. My legs wouldn't work, but that's what you feel in a fight. I had to get myself there cardio-wise and pushing my legs and everything else. And
He's got the heart. That's what they say.
You have no idea because he's not even covering what's wrong with it. Like, this guy's had more surgeries than anybody that I've ever heard, and he's training for a fight. My knee is a little sore, and I'm sitting in the big guy chair.
Well, we should talk about the fight coming up. So you're here because you have a fight June 1st?
Yeah, I got a boxing match June 1st.
So not MMA, it's boxing. How does that transition? Do you find you prefer boxing or MMA?
I prefer boxing now. I've always loved boxing. I boxed a couple times while I was doing MMA just to keep busy, just because of what happened with UFC 92. I was like, man, if no one's going to fight me, I want to do something so I can work on my stand-up. I'm considered a very short fighter for the heavyweight division. I'm 6 foot tall, and most of the guys I've fought are 6'6".
Wow, yeah. That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Reach advantage, everything.
Yeah, the length and everything. So I had to get my boxing better. So I think I've had 7 boxing matches prior to this one. And the difference is, your stance is different, and I prefer boxing now. That's the only reason I won't probably ever fight MMA.
Well, you're not getting kicked in the legs.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I
the
think about
wrestling, grappling.
the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu, that would be the part, especially as you get older, because you don't bend as well as you get older.
No.
And that would be my concern is if you're not flexible in that sport, you're done.
Yeah, that's why I'm not going to ever probably fight MMA again. My back can't take it. I have bulging discs. I have like eagle claws from my spine. There's bone spurs in my spine and everything else from the wrestling, from the grappling, from the football and all that. And so I can't do that anymore. I can't do the grappling. So I know I can box. I know I can do stand-up fighting still. So that's why I chose boxing right now.
I literally hurt my back getting out of bed this morning, so I can relate. Now, do you find it's a big transition going into boxing? Obviously, there's more rounds. It's a lot longer distance that you got to go in a fight. Technically, I mean, not always if someone gets knocked out, but potentially the fight is way longer than an MMA fight.
Well, it depends on how you look at it. Like, for a heavyweight, 5-minute rounds are a lifetime.
Oh, yeah.
30 seconds of people, they don't realize. People are like, oh, I can't believe he's getting tired. We ask somebody to jump rope as a normal person for 30 seconds.
Well, when you're giving it all you have for a couple minutes in a ring and someone's hitting you back, yeah, you get wore out. So I did an MMA fight years ago, so I can relate, and it's exhausting. I mean, obviously your adrenaline's rushing, and but when you're getting punched or kicked or taken down and fighting, to keep control of the fight, it drains you out, man. So I people saying that I can't believe they're already gassed in round 3 or whatever. It's if they've never done it, I don't think they understand.
I think those are the two hardest sports, to be honest with you, the UFC fighting and boxing, because the cardiovascular aspect of it. But you also can't go in there and be 140 pounds, be spindly. You have to have some muscle and some power behind it. Those power shots that you're taking are one thing, but what you're trying to give back, that's got to be part of what's draining your legs, right?
Yeah, that's the thing that goes first, and when you're fighting, is your legs. Your legs will start burning. Your legs will start getting weak. They start feeling like they're heavy, and that's always the one thing for me, at least. It might be different for other people. Is my cardio I'll be breathing fine, but my legs didn't want to move as fast because it's using up all the oxygen in your body, and it burns bad. That's one thing I remember when you get tired in a fight. But as far as boxing, like what you're asking, it's 3-minute rounds. And I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I can do anything for 3 minutes. You know what I mean? So the 5-minute rounds are scarier, cardio-wise, are scarier for me because it's so much harder. But, 3-minute rounds are significantly easier, even though there's more rounds.
Right.
You get a minute break. You give me a minute break, I'll have my breath under control within 15 seconds and chilling for 45.
There you go.
So
now, do you know the guy you're fighting?
Actually, he just got changed.
Okay.
He
didn't want any of that. He didn't want that noise.
That's got to make it hard then, because they swap out a fighter. So
Watch it be a left-hander.
Well, that's the thing. I love left-handers. I hope you're southpaw against me, because that's a quicker reach. That's a quicker I can move into you and close the distance on the left-hander better than I can a right-hander. So, and he switched his stance. The guy that I was originally supposed to fight, and I actually just found out when I was driving here, the promoter calls and he said, "Man, they're not going to let him fight. They're not going to let him fight you." So they originally approved it, and now they're not. So he said, he goes, "I have other guys that are on backup right now, and we plan for this." Usually, every fight promotion, everybody, you see it in the UFC, you see it in any local fighting or whatever, there's always people that drop out.
Yeah.
So we knew that this was going to happen, and I told him, I said, if I'm doing it in my hometown, have backups. And he's got backups, and we just got to find the right one.
Well, so let me ask you this. In my own experience, I had a difficult time getting psyched up to fight a guy that I didn't have a beef with. I didn't really know the guy at all. I knew a little bit about him on paper, but in my mind, it was always difficult to go in there and want to kill this guy. Not literally, but how do you psych yourself up to fight a guy that you don't really have a quarrel with?
Man, that's the business. What you're talking about, man, this is a business paycheck. We'll be friends after.
Right.
But, I'm going to kick your ass.
So it's a sport. It's my job. I'm going in there to do this one job. I don't care who you are. I would think it'd be easier to fight a guy if you didn't like them. Like with Connor, making everybody, he's the villain guy. So it's easy to go in there and be like, he said so many bad things about me and my family or whatever. I can go in there and fight the guy now.
But I think it's a different level. Like, I get what he's saying, it's a paycheck. But when it was like Tito and Chuck,
right,
they were best friends, and they hated each other. And that was real hatred, to the point where you don't ever think that's going to get solved out of the ring.
Right.
And you're saying, to you, it's just a business.
Well, there was one fighter, and he just fought on the Ultimate Fighter. He made the finale and lost in the main event. Justin Frazier, and he's from Arkansas too, and he's now one of my good friends.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, Frazier. Yeah, he's me and him have trained together. Me and him have been good friends, and we fought at Bellator, and he originally, before that fight, me and him didn't like each other. But you can't let that emotion, just like Aldo and McGregor.
Yeah.
Aldo screwed up because Aldo took what Connor was. That's entertainment.
He let it get to him.
Yeah.
And he got the ink. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing to me. That's nothing personal. My biggest thing is like kind of what I think you're asking. Is my biggest thing is somebody's going to beat me, and then I have an opportunity to prepare to not lose. Right. What am I doing? What am I control? I can control those things. I can't control getting knocked out.
Right. You can control what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it just, people have asked me that before. How did it feel going in to fight a guy that you had no quarrel with? I mean, like I said, it's a sport, just like on the football field. You don't really have anything against the other team, but you want to win. That's the whole point.
Softball, I totally do. If they want to go against the fall of the legends, they can come get some on Tuesday night.
Right.
Oh, you don't know that, Mike, but
no.
We have one of the greatest softball teams that's ever been assembled. And if you want to buy tickets, they're available. How do we get tickets to see your fight?
You can message me. I'm doing it this is how I'm getting paid for this fight, because I wanted this fight in my hometown. I wanted to come back to Ohio. I'm not getting paid for the fight. I'm doing it for free. I just said I want to come. I want something in my hometown. So if people want to buy tickets, you can go to @MikeWesselBox on Instagram or on Facebook, Mike Wessel. Message me. I got PayPal. I got the Cash App. I got everything else, and I will send them to you personally. Because that's how I'm going to get a little bit of money from this.
And this is taking place June 1st.
Yes.
In Salina, Ohio.
Salina.
Salina.
Yes. Yep.
At Grand Lakeside Pub and Catering.
Yep. It used to be the old Racket Club. It's a giant facility. They've got like an awesome indoor soccer field, indoor hockey, and everything else. And it used to be a big, like, I don't want to say YMCA, but a country club type thing.
Okay.
And then it got flooded out, and nobody's really done it. And now these new people are wanting to do concerts and events. So they've redone the whole pool area and I put a floor in it. I mean, it's a great venue. When I walked in there to see it, because there's a big walkway around, like where it used to be a running track.
Okay.
And you can look down into the boxing ring, and so it's a pretty.
That's
cool.
pretty cool. So
yeah.
you got a great view of the ring.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna. I'm, the guy that's putting on the show, Aaron Rodriguez with Apex Productions. I told him several times, it's like, man, I know you don't need this, but I'm proud of you. Thank you for doing, because he's bringing in. There's a girl from American Idol that's going to come and sing the national anthem. There's 8 ESPN boxing ring card girls that are going to be selling beer, and he's bringing a lot of the things that he has from Miami and the connections he has from other fight shows to Salina, and so he's doing a hell of a job as far as I'm concerned, because I've told him several times I'm proud of him, which that sounds however you want to say it, but for me, when I tell somebody that's what it means. It's not just blowing smoke.
Well, let me say this. I'm so proud of you. I want you to come back and do another show. Now, if you're watching on Facebook Live, you're going to see this show. We're going to run it back. But if you're listening on the radio, stay tuned, because we're not done with this man yet. You've been listening to Middles Open, and we will see you next week.